Well, it's that time, guys. I have put together all the different showcases in one complete video, all 110, holy moly, vehicles that are available in LEGO City Undercover in one ginormous video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and of course, stay tuned because there's going to be different parts here. And basically what I did was I just cut the videos to fit into one length because a lot of people said I don't want to watch them separately, just give me one whole video. So there you go, 40-minute long video. Enjoy it. It will have all the different categories: performance, heavy, compact, air, bike. Enjoy. Thanks a lot for watching, and yay. We will kick things off with the first vehicle, which is Athena. Now I'm going to keep all the colors via their default color choice. So right here is Athena, which looks pretty gosh darn cool. Definitely a unique vehicle indeed. Kind of has a classic feel to it. Now, of course, what I'd like you guys to do is to let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite vehicle in the performance category. Now, you'll obviously have to look at all of them in order to know which one you like best. So when you call it a different vehicle, the other one basically just blows up. That's how things work in LEGO City Undercover. I like this vehicle because it kind of looks like an old schoolish kind of Porsche type vehicle in my opinion. This was, of course, the, I forgot to name them. I should name them all. That was the Dolham, or Dolaham. I'll have the names on the screen for you guys, so definitely keep track on that. Next up, we've got Lantos, which sounds like something you should eat. As I said before, this is definitely looks like a performance vehicle indeed. I mean, come on, look at that. It looks like a race car. It looks like it came off the racetrack, so that's pretty awesome looking. If you paint that thing black, it would definitely look a lot like a Batmobile, so that's pretty cool. Next is the Roar, which I guess is a car that likes to roar very much. Pretty cool. And of course, all these colors, as I said before, these are all the default color schemes, and for each vehicle you actually have a great variety of paint jobs that you can pick out on top of all the ones that you already see here. So right here we've got the sorry, not the Lantos. I was about to call it the exact same name. My bad. This was this vehicle that we were looking at just now is the Tigerella. So that's a really nice car. Next up, we've got the Bearer. Bam. Pretty cool too. Kind of looks like also, not the... Which vehicle was it? It kind of looks like a car that was on Pawn Stars. Damn, I forget what it was called. Not the Phantom. Is it the Phantom? No, it's not the Phantom. I don't remember. I am completely clueless. Alright, next one is one of my favorites, is the Anberg. I don't know why, I just love the look of this vehicle. It's got this kind of old schoolish muscle car look. Now, some of the cars in this category, in my opinion, don't look very performance-esque. Let's put it that way. So I don't know why they're exactly here, but hey, that's what they decided to do. Next one is Ketan, or Setan. It's with a C, so I'm not sure. I really love the window design on this car. It's pretty gosh darn cool. After that, we have got ourselves the Scout, which is a pretty cool looking car too. Definitely kind of a more, almost like a relaxed, casual type performance vehicle. At least that's my opinion. Okay. Now, of course, there's a bit of a transition here because I have to choose the vehicles after each and every time. Oh, goodness gracious. Why did I click so quickly? I didn't even notice the name of this one. I forgot the name of this particular car. I don't use it very often. Not one of my faves. That is the Valkyrie. I mean, it's not a bad-looking car. It definitely also has an old-school feel to it, but just not one of my faves, or one of my personal faves. This is definitely one of my faves, and that is the Draconis, which is the vehicle that Chan's gang in the game drives a lot. This is a very cool-looking, almost kind of Lamborghini Ferrari type vehicle. Definitely fits with the category of performance, in my opinion. Right after that, we've got the Falcon GT. This definitely has a muscle car GT type feel, you know what I mean? Definitely cool. Except that color scheme is not really my favorite, at least, again, my personal opinion. We've got the Luska, which sounds like Ruska. And again, what is that supposed to be, a windshield wiper? I mean, that is a bizarre looking. I don't know, this car feels like it's kind of fat. I don't know what it is about this car. It just feels like it's a little too big in terms of height, in my opinion. Okay, I know I say my opinion a lot because I don't want to get any hate. Okay, so that was the Luska just now we looked at. Let's carry on with the Silversmith. right here. Bam! This is definitely my favorite car in the performance category. I don't know. This one is just awesome. It looks like, I don't know. I don't know any car brands really well, but it looks like something out of Transformers or something along those lines. I just really love the look of this car. This is my favorite. So, again, that being said, that's my favorite. Let me know which one of the vehicles was yours. Okay, next up is also a really cool one, and that is the Wrath. Probably the most performance-looking vehicle out of them all. Come on, I mean, look at this thing. That looks terrific. And the cool thing about this particular car is that when you use the nitros on this one, as you can see, there's fire coming out of the sides of the engine too. So that's, I kind of like that. That's pretty awesome. Next up, we have got the Draconis with the Chance paint job. So as I said before, it's the Draconis now. It has the their cool dragon logo and a cool little paint job to go along with all that. So that's kind of nice. Okay, after that, only 4 more vehicles to go. The Jersumi, or the Jersimi. I know a lot of people are going to love this car too. It's definitely cool looking, especially with the yellow paint job and stuff. Definitely looks like a very exotic vehicle. Next up, right after that, also a very cool looking vehicle, and that is the Narim. Almost looks kind of like a gangster car or something like that. I don't know. It's got a very kind of gangster feel to it. I mean, look at that thing. That definitely looks very cool. It's got a good rev to it too. And the last 2 vehicles. The second to last right now is the Sphinx right here. Also kind of a muscle car look, very kind of American-made vehicle look and feel to it. Something you would definitely see on a Fast and Furious movie. And the final vehicle that we're going to look at, the final vehicle to unlock, well, the final vehicle in the performance category is the Spirit vehicle. Very cool looking, and I believe they actually released a set, like an actual Lego set with this particular car in it. And go to the compact options. Now, of course, I'm going to keep the vehicle colors set to their normal sizes, and I'm not sure, like, I understand compact meaning that it's kind of smaller cars, but there are a couple of kind of oddballs that kind of seem way too big to be in the compact category. Now, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'd like to hear your opinion on each and every single vehicle, and let me know which is your favorite vehicle out of the compact category. So our first is the ASOS, or the ASOS, or ASO, I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that, but it's basically the orange mobile. That's what I call it, and it looks kind of like I don't remember the name of that vehicle that exists in real life. I think Cube or something like that. It looks very similar to that particular style. Now, this is the Crafter, or Crater, or Grader. Sorry, I misread that. This right here, the one that we're looking at right now, is the Crafter. Yes. Okay. Kind of got a very, I don't know, almost like a Pixar movie look to it. You know what I mean? Next up is the Flare. Very bright and purpley pink. Very, very bright colors and very exciting. That's a pretty cool looking car. So, of course, as you can see, it kind of usually houses just one passenger. That's kind of the theme with the compact vehicles. Next up after that, my personal favorite, and that is Rex's Gallican. Look at that thing. That thing is absolutely awesome. It's got 3 wheels. Look at that thing. It's like a motorcycle car. I love this thing. It looks like it came out of Tron. I don't know. This thing is spectacular. It's got a speed boost right at the bottom. It's awesome. This is definitely my favorite. I love the little logo up at the front there. Definitely cool. So, let's carry on. Continuing onwards. Now, this is the one that I don't know why it's in the compact category. And that vehicle is the Ancestor. Does this look compact to you guys? Sure doesn't look compact to me. It's like twice as big as the Gallican. And probably twice as tall, too. So I'm not really sure why that's in the compact category. But that being said, it's there. So it is what it is, I guess. Now, of course, guys, don't forget to let me know in the comment section below which is your favorite vehicle. Here's the Grassman, which obviously you used to. Guess what? Cut the grass. It even has the little grass noise, which is pretty cool. I like that. Okay. Or grass noise. Yeah, because grass makes noise. No, grass cutting noise. Okay, next one is the Hestia. Kind of, I don't know, it's an oddball looking vehicle because the front and the back look very, very similar. Kind of almost like a minivan type feel to it. Very kind of, not unique in any way, kind of more generic looking, one of the more generic looking vehicles. Now this one's pretty funny. This is the Schmoozer, and I assume it's kind of one of those vehicles that, you know, you'll go up to the mountain to watch a movie or something like that, in a horror movie, and then, you know, one thing leads to another. You know what schmoozing means, so I don't know though. This is a single passenger, so insert funny jokes there. Okay, so that's the Schmoozer. Let's carry on, going into compact features back again. This is the Arbalast, which is probably one of the coolest names for a vehicle. I love the name of this car, Arbalast. I don't know, I just really think that that's a really cool kind of name describing speed and stuff, which again, makes me feel like this car should have been in the performance category that we already covered. This is the Downforce, which looks very similar to kind of like the police car that we see without all the police logos and stuff like that plastered all over it. So definitely got a kind of very generic look to it without any paint and such. So that's definitely not one of the most exciting vehicles in the game. Next up after that is the Jalopy or Jalopy, whatever you want to call it. Kind of almost like a camping vehicle, something you would take to a camping site or something along those lines, at least in my mind. Right up after the Jalopy or Jalopy, another one, my second favorite vehicle, and that is the Sevilla. Awesome. I mean, look at that. It's like an awesome ATV. Who doesn't love ATVs? They look flippin' cool. I love the big engine in the back. It's pretty awesome. I love this thing. It looks cool. Definitely a unique looking vehicle. And it's really nice to have something like this in Lego City. Right up after that, we've got the Cobra Khan, which I guess is the Cobra Khan vehicle. Very cool. Definitely got a very old school feel to it overall with the design and such. And the bright pink doesn't really help it much, but nonetheless, it looks kind of cool. Alright, right up after that. Now, of course, I didn't mention there are a total of 18 compact vehicles, and I will be doing a video that features all the different vehicles, so be on the lookout for that as well. Right up after that, we've got the Pumpkin, which is a very, very cute vehicle. It's actually what Natalia Kowalski drives in the game, which is our main hero's love interest. The one thing that I find kind of interesting about this vehicle is that both side doors look like bricks, don't they? Like, I know it's Lego bricks, but they look like kind of like a brick design, don't they? I don't know, I just found that to be kind of oddballish. But definitely something you'd see like maybe Legally Blonde drive or something like that. Okay. Well, actually, she probably shouldn't be driving. Okay, and then after that, our final vehicle in the compact features, and that is the Smallissimo, which is definitely the smart car of the game. Now, it's kind of hilarious when you do this with the smart car, because you're like, oh my god, who would do that to a smart car? Like, that's ridiculous. Why would you speed boost a smart car? But I don't know, I just think that that is really, really funny. So let me just double check that. Oh no, sorry, there's two more vehicles. Goodness gracious, how could I have missed that? My goodness. Good thing I checked it, huh? Otherwise, you guys would be like, what the heck? Blitzwinger, you lied to us. So this is the Squeaky. Kind of almost looks like, sorry. Whoa. I just choked on some spit. Pumpkin. Kind of looks like the Pumpkin, you know, that pink car that we just looked at that belongs to Natalia Kowalski. Definitely in the same vein. Oh yeah, and how could I forget? The Talus. Talus is one of my also favorites. It kind of looks like an RC car, doesn't it? I mean, it's basically like driving an RC car, which is pretty awesome. I mean, how could you go wrong with this thing? It's pretty cool looking too, and I love the kind of neon bluish green hue to the default color. It's pretty gosh darn cool. And there you have it, guys. That is going to conclude the compact vehicle show with the first vehicle, and that is the Squatty. And of course, guys, after watching all the vehicles, let me know which was your personal favorite. This is the Squatty right here, looking pretty gosh darn cool. Kind of the basic vehicle. I think this is the first police car that you get to drive in the game. Very, very basic vehicle that you get to access early on in the game, and you'll get to unlock it early on. In fact, I think it's the first vehicle that you get to unlock, so pretty cool there. So that's the Squatty. Next up, we've got the Imprisoner, which I assume just like its name sounds. Well, it just crushed our clockwork robot, which is unfortunate. But I assume that that's the vehicle that is used to drive or transport prisoners from one place to another, or into, let's say, from a courthouse to a prison cell, etc. So as you can see, it only seats one, though, so very inefficient transportation system, unless if they shove someone in here, which wouldn't be really good for them. But as you can see, kind of a much more van design to this one. And of course, all these vehicles have sirens, so that's pretty cool as well. So that was the Imprisoner. Next up is the Rhina, or is it Rhino? No, sorry, it's Rhino. And of course, this is default paint job, so you could change it up to something else. I'll show you that in just a sec. So here's the Rhino, and here, let me show you activating. That's pretty much what most of them sound like. Some of them have a bit of a different pitch, but it's just kind of annoying to listen to a siren for a long time, especially if you're like me and you live in a busy area and you hear it anyways. But as you can see, kind of more of a Jeep design to this particular vehicle. Very cool looking. Something you would kind of use as a Ranger maybe, or something along those lines. And I'm not talking about a Power Ranger. So that's the Rhino. Next up after that, we've got our next police vehicle, which is the Trooper. So for example, here I'll show you the black version of this vehicle. As you can see, looks very cool. The standard version is white, but this looks really neat. So as you get to add more and more color, you get to make certain vehicles look even cooler. So that's the Trooper, also kind of very similar to the Squaddy, a bit more of a stylish design to it, but still pretty much kind of a very basic police squad vehicle. Next up after that, the most kind of advanced of the vehicles, looking kind of like a Lamborghini type car. As you can see, very fast looking design to this one, and this is the police car known as Hero. They call it Hero, which is pretty cool. As you can see, that's a pretty awesome looking vehicle right there. Really nice. There's police right on the front there. Alrighty, right up after that, one of my personal favorites, and that is the Tracker. So your ATV, if you wanted to use a police ATV, you got yourself a version right here. Look at that. And that's pretty awesome. As you can see, still has the sirens right in the back there. So if you were wondering if the smaller vehicles have it, there you go. Pretty awesome. I don't know, I just find ATVs to be fun, so that's why I really like that one too. Okay, after that, we've got our Bastion, which kind of looks like the vehicle that would kind of, you know, I guess you could make the case that it would drive prisoners as well, but I think that this one looks more kind of like the one that transports money, you know, like that type of a vehicle that you would use, kind of bulletproof and such, so that you cannot rob it or make it very difficult to do so. So that's a pretty cool design, much more of a darker hue of blue as a default colorization for this particular vehicle. Next up after that, my favorite vehicle, and that is the MOV. You get to drive this thing in a real mission. I mean, come on, it's so cool looking. It's got all these doors and panels all over the place, and I think that I've heard that apparently there's an actual set like this one in real life. Like, they actually released a set of this truck, which is pretty gosh darn cool, and I've actually thought of picking it up just because it looks so flippin' cool. Just a really cool truck and trailer as well to go along with it. So that was the MOV. So it's M.O.V. dot. I'm just gonna keep saying a lot of dots. Speaking of dots, here's .T, .R, .E, .V. So many dots. This is the Trev. And it's a pretty ridiculous vehicle, especially in the game when you're playing and a police officer is chasing you in this thing and you're driving some sort of amazing looking car. It's kind of ridiculous to think that he thinks he could catch you on this thing, but it's pretty cool looking, very kind of cute, almost like a patrolling vehicle, not a very serious vehicle that you would use to chase or anything like that. After that, we've got the motorcycle version for the police officers. Very cool, kind of got the old schoolish design to it, got some cool handlebars and such. Very cool. Actually a very quick vehicle. I think it feels like it's the quickest of the motorcycles, but again, that could be just me thinking like that, but that's how it feels, and it's a very cool design indeed. The best looking motorcycle in the game, in my opinion. Okay, so after that, we've got, speaking of cool things, we got the Patrollo. And that is your police Segway, which is riding away as I'm saying this. But that's pretty cool, actually. I said how much I like the Segways on the last vehicle showcase, which was for the bikes. But I find this one to be even cooler because, of course, you've got a siren. Everything is better with a siren, I guess, right? And I don't know, I just find this one to be really, really cool as well. And again, much more of a patrolling vehicle, not something that you would seriously like chase robbers with or something like that, because you'd look ridiculous. Alright, next up after this, let's take a look at some of the firefighter vehicles we've got. So of course, first up, we've got the fire truck right here. Pretty cool design indeed. If you're wondering about sirens, yep. There you go. A different siren, of course, because fire trucks have different sirens than police cars. They all have different kinds of sirens that they follow. Oh, sorry, no, that was the one that you used to reach. This is the basic police firefighter truck right here. I apologize. So this is the one that I was discussing. I forgot to give you the official name for that one. Sorry, let me double check. So that last one that we looked at was the extender, which obviously you would use to kind of reach high places if there's a big fire. So you want to reach like a really high floor that this truck can't. You'd use the extender. And then this truck is actually called Inferno, which is pretty cool. I believe that there's a Transformer whose name is Inferno maybe, and he also is a fire truck. So that's pretty awesome. A very, very cool design. Same siren. And pretty gosh darn cool looking. I love all the windows right up at the front. The translucent blue there looks very cool. Continuing with the firefighting trucks, or vehicles, sorry, we've got the fire tracker, so your version of the same exact ATV, except red, and obviously with the fire emblem up at the front instead of the police emblem or signature or writing or whatever you want to call it. So pretty cool again. Always welcome to see even more ATVs. I know some people would complain saying, oh, that's such a slight modification, but come on. Considering they give you 110 vehicles in this game, the more the merrier in my mind. So, let's carry on. Next up, whoops, there we go. Let's go to the Dowser, which I assume is also a firefighting vehicle. Yeah, there's a firefighting insignia up at the front, but it's kind of more like a truck, I guess. Not really something you would use necessarily to actually put out the fire. Maybe kind of more of a vehicle that brings, let's say, wood or some sort of resources that are necessary in order to put out the fire, but not necessarily one that you would use to put out the fire or douse the fire or anything like that. So it's pretty interesting considering that they call it a Dowser, that it doesn't really have any features like, you know, actually being able to douse anything. So pretty cool. Okay, and then finally let's bring so that was the last firefighting vehicle. Now let's take a look at the ambulance right here. And of course got the different sirens as well, because of course medical personnel has a different siren to that of the police and the firefighters. Very cool, kind of classic looking medical ambulance type thing. So that's pretty awesome. Really cool. You can see there'd be some supplies back there, and you'd obviously put the patient or whoever needs assistance through those doors over there. So then let's take a look at the final two vehicles, which are kind of the more upper echelon vehicles, the really, really, really cool vehicles in my opinion. So first up, we've got the Vigilant, and I know I said MOV is one of my favorites, but actually I think the next vehicle after Vigilant is probably my overall favorite. But the MOV is just awesome because it's so cool, and in the game it was really cool. But the Vigilant is really awesome as well. You can see it's got almost like a prison cell in the back, so not only can you use it to kind of, you know, drive over terrain and stuff, but you could see kind of like obviously arrest people in it. But the other thing is you could see kind of like a really cool action hero driving something like this. Like, you know, you could see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or someone like a Bruce Willis driving this kind of car in an action film. Very cool looking vehicle indeed. And then finally, personally, probably my favorite looking vehicle out of all the ones that are available, and that is the Justice. Kind of got a Hummer feel to it just due to the design. Very cool. You could see a lot of kind of power from this thing just due to the size of the wheels or the tires and such. Just a really, really cool looking vehicle, and it's got a really kind of cool design to it and shape, a very unique shape indeed. But there you have it, guys. That concludes the entire list. That was a total of 18 vehicles, 18 emergency vehicles, literally and figuratively. And take a look at the 16 available heavy vehicles. Now, of course, after seeing all of them, let me know in the comment section below which you find to be the coolest. So first off, we kick things off with the Broadcaster. That's the name of the vehicle. And of course, what do you think it acts like? It's a newscasting vehicle. So something kind of like that thing that Iron Man uses in Iron Man 3. Sorry, Tony Stark uses. Remember, he sneaks into this type of a truck. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, it's very, very basic. Not too exciting unless if you've always wanted to be a news reporter. But other than that, there you have it. That's the Broadcaster. Next up after that, we have got ourselves the Gotland, kind of, I guess, a farming vehicle you would use, kind of a, you know, maybe you deliver, I don't know, chicken eggs or milk or whatever it may be. I assume that's probably why it's called Gotland, something like that would be applicable to the farm, or at least that's the feeling that I'm getting from it. Just kind of a work vehicle, which I guess would mean that it could have been in the worker category, but nonetheless they put it into the heavy category. So I don't know necessarily why they say heavy. I guess it refers to all these vehicles being heavy, but then some of the vehicles that we get, like, you would think to yourself, oh, well, that could have been in the compact feature, or that could have been in that, or that could have been in that. So it's really kind of up to your discretion to decide whether or not this vehicle qualifies to be a heavy vehicle or not. So without further ado, we've got the Muncher, which is a terrific name, and it is, of course, the ice cream truck. It's the ice cream truck. Yay, ice cream truck. And of course, it's got creepy ice cream music. There you go. So that's pretty cool. That's the Muncher there. Next up after the Muncher, we have got ourselves what I call the A-Team van, but it's the Squad Mobile, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, kind of something that the SWAT team would use, or something along those lines. You know, very high operation, special ops operation team would use. You know, kind of they would arrive, then bust open, and just come out with guns blazing and take care of any situation. Very, very cool. Kind of got a very James Bond feel to it. Not because James Bond would drive this type of thing, but just because it's kind of very sleek. And just kind of obviously all black, and a really cool design indeed. Okay. Next up after that, we have got ourselves the Cocoon, which is the vehicle you would see on, not Albatross Island. Yeah. Is it? No, it's not Albatross. It's, goodness gracious, what is it called? Why am I completely forgetting? I don't remember the name of the island. You guys know what I'm talking about, and you're probably by now said it already. Because you guys are awesome like that. What's the name of that damn island? Apollo Island. That's what it was. But of course, it's kind of a space vehicle that would be applied to space missions, or something along those lines. It's got a very funny honk, in my opinion. I don't know, it just sounds kind of weird. But obviously, it's got a bunch of gadgets and antennas and all over the place. I know some people will probably pick this as their favorite just because a lot of us would love to be an astronaut, and that's a pretty cool looking vehicle indeed. Next up, we've got the Ironback, which is kind of your monster truck type vehicle. Very cool, very, very colorful, kind of neon green finish to it. Indeed, a very cool vehicle, and it just definitely stands out for sure. Yeah, look at this. Hoop-de-de-loop-de-dee. Why not? Because it's pretty awesome. Okay, so that's the Ironback. It's got a really cool design in the front too. Okay, after that, we carry on, and we have got ourselves the Oldster, which I am not 100% certain as to kind of what judgment call to make on it, but it does say shop on the side, so I guess it's just kind of a truck that would maybe deliver like fruits and vegetables or something along those lines to, you know, your local grocery store or something like that, because you would never use such a small truck for like a big shop like Walmart or something like that. So I guess it would be kind of more of a local grown stuff, maybe kind of a farmer, etc. as well. So that's pretty cool. Next up after that, we have got ourselves the Torison, which is kind of I guess a Jeep design. Well, not I guess, it is. It's got kind of a feel, kind of Range Rover-y feel to it, in my opinion. Then again, I know some people will disagree with me, especially those who are big fans of cars, because I'm not a big car person. But that's the vibe I'm getting from it. It's a pretty decent looking vehicle indeed. Not my favorite. You'll see which one is my favorite. We're coming up on it very shortly. Okay, after that we got the Galeen, your RV type vehicle that you would obviously take on a vacation. Got a bicycle and a waterboard to go ahead and ski, or not ski, water ski, whatever it's called. Waterboarding. Surfing. There we go. Surfboard. That's the word. But a very cool looking vehicle. Again, the more the merrier. I love the variety of cars that are available in the game. Okay, after that we have got a very cool design on the Ironback, and that is Chan's Ironback, who of course was the one of the main bad guys, I guess. Not main, but one of the bad guys that we meet in the game. So this is their approach to the Ironback. They just provided obviously different colorization and their very, very cool dragon logo right up on the front there. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we've got my personal favorite vehicle, and I think it's going to be everyone's favorite vehicle, and that is Rex's Riot. I think that this is my favorite vehicle in the entire game, just because it's so flippin' cool looking. It's got such a really kind of futuristic look to it. I mean, I know it definitely stands out from all the other vehicles, because most of the vehicles are actually kind of somewhat realistic, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like trucks, taxi drivers, etc. This thing just looks really, really cool. It looks out of this world. It's got the skull designs all over the place, and just the red color. It's a very, very energetic looking vehicle. It looks like it's ready to pounce and ready to attack. Very, very cool vehicle indeed. Okay, next up after that, we are gonna slow things down a little bit with the Transter, and that is kind of our just truck vehicle. Nothing too crazy about this. With this vehicle, I would say that it's very important to change the color, because if you were to, for example, I'll show you. This green, it's cool looking and all, but if you go ahead and change the color on that particular vehicle, so let me change it to, I don't know, let's say even red. I was going to say black, but look, you see that makes it look way better. So definitely, as soon as you change the color on that thing, it looks really, really cool. Alright, next up after that, we've got 4 more to go. We've got the Garano. Very cool vehicle here. Kind of much more of a smaller truck, kind of, you see, as you can see, kind of like boxes, and it doesn't carry a lot of stuff, obviously, a smaller design. Something that you would maybe even use in an airport, you know, just if you have like some small stuff to deliver or transport, etc. So that's pretty cool. That's a tiny little truck. Kind of like, you know, the smart car? If there was a smart truck, that would be it right there. Alright, we've got the Lurv, L.E.R.V. Which is kind of your space rover, which you actually get to steal in the game, spoiler alert. And this vehicle handles very weirdly because of the wheels. You kind of like slide all over the place a lot. Like, I can obviously drive straight, but you will, as soon as you try to turn, it's very, very sensitive. So for that, it's a little strange, but it's a very, very unique looking vehicle, that's for sure. And again, the more variety, the better, in my opinion. And finally, we got 2 more vehicles to go. This is the second to last vehicle. It is the Rugged, which kind of looks a lot like that other Jeep that we took a look at. Just a bit more detail. Takes the approach of the detail a little bit differently in terms of like the front window design is a little different, as well as the back window. But other than that, the shape and everything, very, very similar indeed. This one looks a little more kind of like something that you would use kind of, you know, driving through the desert, just exploring and such. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty, and then the final vehicle in the heavy category, it is, of course, the Wanderer, which is kind of your mini bus almost looking type thing. It's kind of bizarre looking because I don't know why, but to me, both sides of the car look kind of the same. Like, especially if you look at it like this and you don't pay attention to the side windows here, like kind of like this. It's like, where's the front? How do I drive? You know, it's a very old school looking vehicle. It looks like something from like the 60s or the 50s. I guess it's like the soccer mom car of that time. There you go. So that concludes the heavy vehicle showstop. We've got the Buzzer motorcycle, which looks pretty gosh darn cool. Very simplistic, but it looks... What the... Where did our cape go? We don't look like a super wrestler anymore. Why don't we get to keep the cape? Huh, that's odd. I wanted to keep the cape. That's bizarre. But there you go. And that's the Buzzer motorcycle. Very simplistic design, but at the same time, it's pretty cool looking. We've got the Redeemer, which is a very, very cool looking, kind of like a tricycle motorcycle, as you can see. Very, very neato, in my opinion. Looks kind of awesome. It's got a lot big exhaust pipes and such. That's the default color scheme, so of course you could change that to any other color that you desire. Right up after that, next up is another motorcycle, is the VAR motorcycle. Not the VAR, it's just VAR. So there it is. This one is, it's got a bit more of a old school feel compared to Buzzer. I think that this one looks kind of more of an older design. Buzzer looks kind of more of a modern motocross type motorcycle. This is more of an old schoolish design. At least that's how I feel about it, just because of the design of the body of the motorcycle. After that, probably going to end up being everybody's favorite, and that is Rex's Brute, I think that this is definitely a pretty cool motorcycle. I mean, just the design of it, they really made all of Rex's vehicles really, really awesome. I mean, look at that big skull design right up at the front. Got some suspension up at the front too. Just very, very cool. A really cool red color. And overall just stands out. Definitely really cool vehicle indeed. After that, halfway through, is something that some people are going to be offended by, and that is the revolver. It's a wheelchair, so if you ever wanted to play and drive a wheelchair, I don't even think you could do this in GTA, at least without any mods and such. So this is pretty hilarious that they actually pulled it off in a Lego game. And as you can see, it's pretty ridiculous, but at the same time, there you have it. That's a wheelchair, so if you ever were interested in driving a wheelchair, you can go ahead and do that. So you can definitely do a lot of funny stunts and different kind of scenarios with your friends. Okay, after that we've got the wash wagon, which looks kind of almost like the minecart from Minecraft, and it's a pretty ridiculous thing to drive as well. I mean, like, imagine driving this thing like in the real world. Like, people are gonna probably ridicule you. So it's a really, really funny thing right there. It's a very powerful vehicle indeed. Okay, and next up after that we have got the groundhog, which is our skateboard, our default skateboard. Now the interesting thing about the skateboard, unlike the other vehicles where you have to just hold A, with the skateboard you have to like tap A, kind of, you know, pushing off, and then once you hold A, your character would just kind of hop onto the skateboard. So it requires a little bit more investment on your behalf in terms of gameplay. Right up after that, we have got ourselves my personal favorite, and I know most people will disagree. I love Rex's boot, and I know that this thing is kind of ridiculous, like to say that it's your favorite, but I don't know why. I just think segways are kind of ridiculous. They're so like weird and bizarre, and I don't know. I just find it to be funny that I could drive a Segway in a Lego game. So I don't know why I really love this thing. And of course, if I had to be honest, like if I had to pick one not for comedic effect, just because I think it looks cool, that's definitely Rex's brute. Okay, so after the Segway, we have got still a couple more to go. So let's open that up. We've got our pizza delivery hair dryer. That's the name. Well, pizza delivery hair dryer. That made sense. It's like when you get your pizza, they hair dry your hair. So if you take a bath, that's a new service coming to a Pizza Hut near you. But it's basically kind of a moped that you would use to deliver pizzas. In fact, it comes with pizzas in the back. So that's pretty cool. As you can hear, it has the kind of old school annoying buzzing noise that these things usually have, and yeah, there you have it. Definitely not one of my favorites. It's a little too boring in my opinion. And finally, to end it and finish this off, we've got Sweetie, which is our bicycle, and also one of my favorites, just because, I mean, it's just cool. Like, I remember always loving in GTA when they introduced the bicycle. That was awesome, and I think that it's really cool to just be able to drive a bicycle. I don't understand why I have to get rid of my cape. That's a little silly in my opinion. I'd love to maintain the cape as I'm driving this thing. But there you have it, guys. That brings us to a conclusion of another vehicle showcase. Look at all the aircraft that is available to you within LEGO City. There are a total of 10 vehicles that you can use to fly around. And if you are not a fan of moving on the ground, this is obviously your option to go ahead and fly around. And of course there are some boats and stuff as well, but that's on water. Today we're discussing aircraft, and we kick things off with the Camel helicopter, which is kind of the Firefighter helicopter. You can see it's got the kind of water spewing system from one side, so if you need to put out any fires or such, you would go ahead and obviously utilize this type of a helicopter, which is pretty gosh darn cool. Definitely need to see it. Alrighty, so just like firefighters, police need their aircraft as well, and in this case, this is the Chopper. It's just called the Chopper, and well, it's not the Chopper, it's just Chopper. So, pretty cool looking vehicle, of course. Alrighty, next up, a smaller version of another police helicopter, and that is the Responder. Pretty gosh darn cool. I guess this one would be a little bit more applicable to just search instead of search and rescue like the Prius Chopper. And you could also hear, of course, the sirens activate, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, next up, one of the two UFO designs available in the game, and that is the Jupiter. You'll see the other one in just a minute. Now, this is very cool, kind of a little bit more classical looking UFO with the dome up at the top and such. Very cool. I love the colors. The green, purple, and gray works really well. Next up, another search and rescue type vehicle. This is the Skybringer, and I guess just like its name goes, you would probably use this to not only rescue people from troublesome situations and such, but you could probably also deliver resources and other different devices to needy areas, which is pretty cool. Definitely a cool looking design on this particular helicopter. Next up, the only jetpack in the game, and that is Cloud. Now, is it just me, or does it look like there's like a ghost face right on top of Chase McCain's head? Like the back of the jetpack looks a little like a ghost face in my opinion. Pretty cool if you never noticed that. Alrighty, next up, another large-scale helicopter. This is Swooper, which sounds like a name for a transformer, doesn't it? It looks a lot like the Skybringer, but much more obviously orange paint and such. Pretty gosh darn cool looking design as well. Right up after that, we've got Hera, H-E-R-A. The smallest of the helicopters, and it looks like it's got kind of like a searchlight on the side, so maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a news helicopter, or maybe it's something along the lines of just, you know, if you need to search the water at night or something along those lines, I guess it would be applicable for. But it's very cool. I love the kind of B design in terms of like black and yellow. Pretty cool. Next up after that, the best flying vehicle, and of course it belongs to Rex. This is Rex's Tempest, and it's a flippin' awesome looking vehicle. I mean, this thing looks like it came out of like Avatar or Halo. I mean, just look at this thing. It's so cool. The color is awesome. I love the double propellers on the sides and the engines right below. Very, very cool design indeed. I'd love to see a real version of this particular airplane released in real Legos. That would be cool. I'd definitely pick that up. A very, very cool design indeed. And finally, to round out the list, the 10th air vehicle that you could use. It's got an awesome noise to it. Pretty cool, just that noise. It's very cool. I don't know if I just recreated it horribly. And of course, I will attempt to pick people up with that little laser gun at the bottom. You can't, unfortunately. That would have been cool, though. And of course, this is the UFO, and its name is UFO. Very original, I know. But this design is also very cool. My second favorite design. I think that this UFO is a little bit more kind of cool looking in terms of just how cheesy it is. I mean, it just looks a little bit oddballish, but at the same time, I love the purple and green, just the bright colors. Very cool looking, definitely kind of alien-esque, and I very much enjoy driving this one just because it has a very cool sound effect as well. Well, there you have it. Those are all 110 vehicles, all complete for LEGO City Undercover. Click that like button and let me know which is your favorite. I know it's hard to decide because there's so gosh darn many. Alright, peace out, guys.